Whether you want to get larger or leaner, you kind of get one or the other. You know, there's not really an in-between.
He's completely wrong. I mean, I don't know if anyone believes Sam over me at this point. Oh, hopefully I'm not getting sick. I sneezed a couple times.
It dried my back a lot. Okay.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Sam is soft. And when I tell you it's soft, I'm talking about his physique, not his personality. It's his words, not mine.
I took a little glimpse midsection wise over in like the dungeon mirror. Yeah, I tell you something. I'm not getting too soft.
It's actually the opposite of what I heard. Technically, he's saying, I'm not getting too soft, as in, he refuses to. He loves being single-digit body fat. As you know, Sam is on a bulk, a lean bulk, of course. He's gone are the days when he was doing the chocolate milk and burgers, fries, and so on. And he's clearly been watching Coach Greg. I've been saying for years that you don't need to bulk in order to put on muscle, that what you should do is to maintain gain.
But I've been on a summer bulk kick for the past few summers, and I think I want to undo that loop.
And so he's had enough. Everyone keeps saying you gotta eat big to get big, and I keep saying if you eat big, you get big and fat. He's had enough. And so rather than continuing to bulk, he's going on a cut, a mini cut. But does anyone think he needs to cut? I mean, even by my standards, Sam is shredded. He's clearly single-digit body fat. And personally, I think he might even benefit by putting on a couple more pounds. But hey, guys, it's summer, and Sam likes to be shredded. Shredded for summer.
So I'm falling for the propaganda.
The fact that many social media influencers, bodybuilders, refuse to get fat in the off season, and my personal belief is they don't need to. A bodybuilder, maximum off season 15%, preferably 12. I'm telling you that when you have to diet to the extent of an IFBB pro, in particular in classic physique, where you need to be shredded, there's no benefit to continuing a bulk past 12%. Why would he continue to bulk when he can look good in the off season? He can feel comfortable in the mirror. Look at Sam, he's checking himself out. How often is he checking himself out? He looks at himself in the mirror more often than your girlfriend.
But just standing? I mean, shit. I didn't soften up too quick.
Bodybuilding, it changes you. Once you've seen yourself shredded with the tan, the oil, and so on, you bodybuild, you gain back some weight, you remember how you used to look, you look yourself in the mirror, and suddenly you have body dysmorphia. It happens to so many individuals. And so perhaps for Sam, he no longer wants to be 260 pounds. He's thinking, no, that actually looks fat. I don't want any of that.
So I don't think it'll take too long to get back to a state where I've got like pretty strong hamstring striations again.
Who has to tell Sam that he's already shredded? He needs to get back on a cut to get his hamstrings to be shredded. He has hardly any fat on his hamstrings right now.
When it comes to whether you want to get larger or leaner, you kind of get one or the other. You know, there's not really an in-between.
And so that I disagree. You're either trying to get leaner or bigger. No, you can get bigger and leaner at the same time, or you can maintain by keeping your body fat the same. Let's say it was 10%. Sam is leaner than that. And put on muscle from there. And so remember, my advice is to get to a healthy weight, and that is healthy for you. For most people, it's probably going to be around 15%. For Sam, perhaps it's 10%, 12%, perhaps it's even 8 or 9%. And from that body fat percentage, you can slowly put on muscle. Is it going to be fast? Of course not. Now, the one topic that Sam is not mentioning here is that his weight is directly related to the amount of steroids that he's actually taking. He just finished a bodybuilding competition, and bodybuilding competitors are notorious for taking their highest doses. Remember, I coached athletes. I was a competitor myself, getting prepared for that competition. Most likely, he was on his highest doses in his entire life, and following that, they go through what's known as a health phase. Back in my day, perhaps years ago, decades, we used to come off cycle. When you did a bodybuilding competition, after the cycle, it was time to go off. It was time to clear out the receptors. It was time to get your blood work back in order. Time to be healthier than last time. In today's world, almost nobody cycles off. And at the very least, people are doing HRT. I don't believe that Sam is only on HRT. Does he look like a guy who's only on HRT? If Sam were to tell me, oh no, Coach Greg, I'm only at 100 to 150 milligrams of test a week, even 200, I would be amazed. I would be happy to hear that. I would say, This is great. I would love to know Sam's off-season cycle. You know, when he's trying to get his health back in order. Because no matter who you are, when you finish a bodybuilding competition, you are not healthy. Sam, most likely, it's my belief, he's probably doing at least 500 milligrams of test a week. Now, if he were to blast steroids right now, huge doses, I believe his weight would go up. Even if he's not putting on any body fat whatsoever, I think he would continue to get bigger. And to the opposite extent, if Sam were to lower his doses to HRT or, heavens forbid, actually go off, his weight would plummet. Sam is clearly above his natural genetic limit, and so if he doesn't have exposure to those androgens, steroids, if you will, he's not going to be able to keep all that muscle. His body is going to deflate and get a lot smaller.
If you want to grow, you've got to eat enough food to grow.
And add to that the caveat, you need enough steroids to grow. Remember, Sam is not for a natural bodybuilder. If you're a natural bodybuilder and you're doing exactly like Sam, well, how does that make any sense? Sam is gaining muscle, dieting to 4% body fat. He then goes on a lean bulk at that for 5 or 6 weeks, and then decides to go on a cut because his hamstrings aren't quite shredded enough. If you're natural and you do the exact same thing, how much muscle do you think you're going to have? It probably not very much. And so my advice, don't go on a mini bulk and then cut once you get close to 10% body fat. That is not realistic. And so what I would say, hey, go on a lean bulk up to perhaps 15%. And if you're not happy with that, you could cut down to, at most, go down to 10. Lower than that, probably not going to be healthy, and I know there are exceptions out there, but for the most part, if you're watching this video, try to maintain between 10 and 15%.
Except for the untrained individual. That's an instance where you can grow muscle and lose fat at the same time. But if you've been working out for a few years consistently, you're either gaining mass or losing fat while maintaining muscle mass. Kind of one or the other.
He's completely wrong. I mean, I don't know if anyone believes Sam over me at this point. So what he just said is, you can't put on muscle unless you're an absolute beginner or newbie, or you're coming back from a layoff or an injury, unless you're putting on body fat. Does anyone think that if you take performance-enhancing drugs, if you're Sam, if you up the doses, you double up your dose of tren, that you can't put on muscle without getting fat at the same time? And so if that were actually true, if what Sam is saying is true, why is he going on a cut? Does Sam suddenly develop body dysmorphia? He's single-digit body fat. He's looking in the mirror. He's thinking, you know what? My hamstrings aren't lean enough. I used to have crazy striations, and now I'm not even as lean as Tristan Lee. Does that make sense? In his own mind, he believes that he can't get leaner while putting on muscle at the same time. And so why is he trying to get leaner? In doing that, if he's correct, it means that he will in fact lose muscle. He'll get smaller. Why would he want to do that? Is Sam not an IFBB pro? Is his goal not to perhaps win a classic physique bodybuilding competition? How does this make sense? Why is Sam suddenly not going after his goals, his dreams? What has changed?
So when I describe kind of what I'm aiming for the next few months, of course I want to get leaner, but I don't want to crash my strength so much. And since I'm not prepping or dieting so hard as for this last prep, I think I can kind of get the two going in tandem. So I certainly expect some strength gains.
And so he doesn't think he can get bigger, but he thinks he can get stronger. I think he can get bigger and stronger. It just depends on his doses. And so what I think the hidden message is, if you're reading between the lines, if you will, is that Sam has lowered his doses. He's taking less steroids, and he knows that his weight will not go up. I believe it's possible that Sam has gotten his blood work, that it has come back not quite so ideal, and the doctor has perhaps advised him, you know what, Sam, cholesterol ain't so good, the liver enzymes, kidneys, and so you got to dial it back. And so because of that, he's thinking, well, because I can't build muscle and lose fat at the same time, I may as well just lose fat, because I certainly ain't going to build muscle while lowering my doses. And so that is my working hypothesis. Of course, it's frankly a guess. I'm predicting what is happening, but we will not know because Sam is not going to tell us. Have we ever seen Sam's blood work? For a man who posts every single day, who's transparent, who shares everything about training, Notice how he doesn't share one of the most important pieces of information of all. And that is about his health. And so we're watching Sam, who is now dabbled into being a part owner of a peptide or research chemical site. We're not exactly sure. Partnered with some unique individuals, if you will. Perhaps you didn't see his last post on Instagram, of which it was taken down again. And no, it's not because it was AI. It was because of all of the comments. And I did, in fact, screenshot this before it was taken down. People talking about Diddy's former dentist with his partner. I couldn't believe the things that were saying. And so I wasn't aware of any of this. And so why is Sam not talking about the health implications of taking steroids? For a man with 4.5 million followers, about double of Coach Greg, why doesn't he do his part on explaining the dangers of taking steroids? Why is he trying to avoid it at all costs? Now, hey, perhaps you could give him the pass. When he did not talk about steroids, didn't talk about peptides, he's not talking about that. He's just basically keeping it to himself. But if you go and become a part owner of a research chemical site where people are going to start using peptides, perhaps IGF-1 or various other compounds which can cause pre-diabetes, ruin your blood sugar, perhaps ruin your physique, your health, doesn't he owe it to the world to share his blood work, to explain exactly what he's doing, so that he can warn the teenagers, the young people, of the dangers of doing what he's doing?
There we go. Who the heck is this dude, and what has he done with Sam? Yeah, there we go. Shorter hair.
Fitting words. Who the heck's this guy? What has he done with Sam? And in more ways than one, I'm not just talking about the hair. He's cut the hair in the past. I did a video on it. That's how popular Sam is. He gets a haircut and I get out a video. But what about the Sam that's promoting peptides? You know, research chemical compounds, and some, in fact, many are not approved for human consumption, yet his target audience, mostly teenagers, young people. And so with that type of demographic, why would he promote peptides? Where is Sam? And what have you done with him? The Sam that we all know and love, was that not the guy that used to go and get chocolate milk and bulk up and try to lift heavy weights, put on more muscle than last time, would bulk and cut? Now we have Sam 2.0, promotes peptides, gains a few pounds of body fat, not even 10%, is back on a cut. Cuts the bulking short several weeks out from summer. Who is this guy? This reminds me more of Alex Eubank than Sam Sulek.
I noticed that when I'm leaner, sometimes it's kind of cooler having shorter hair, because proportionally makes your body look bigger.
It's as if he's just watched all of my videos and has decided, I'm going to talk about what Coach Greg said in a video. And then here it is. Did you not all watch Coach Greg say that Sam should have gotten a haircut because it would have made him look leaner on stage? Every bodybuilder knows that you cut the hair, you get it shorter. Many would even go bald, because the shorter the hair, the smaller that your head appears, the larger the biceps are going to appear. The bigger the delts, bigger the chest. And when you have a mop on your head, it detracts from your physique. And so he's decided, you know what? I'm going to get lean for summer. I'm going to cut off my hair, going to reduce the length, because it's not adding to my physique. I look better when I'm leaner with a fresh haircut. And so he's doing it now just in time for summer, just in time for his cut. But he forgot about that when he was competing on stage.
But that was a good quad session. That was actually, I thought I was gonna have to rush it a little bit because I had my haircut scheduled for 11.
In Sam 2.0, who have we done with Sam? He imagines cutting his workout short in order to get a haircut. I got my haircut yesterday, but I certainly did not detract from my workout. I was actually going out to eat with my friends after, and I was 15 minutes late because I wasn't about to cut my workout short. The time that it takes is the time that it takes. If it means missing a haircut, then you missed the haircut.
And I woke up a little bit later than I had intended to, just because I slept in a touch. Not too late, but like I wasn't really moving until like 9.
He's sleeping in, waking up at 9, going to the gym at 9:30, and finishing his workout at 10 to go directly to get his haircut? Bro had a year to cut his hair, and he cuts his workout short by 30 minutes.
If you have any, even just a little bit of influence.
And speaking of influence, I would suggest you go out and get Geo2 Max as well as Turk Builder Platinum. Sam, you can't always be blasting gear. At some points, you have to at least reduce your doses or go on HRT. And during that time in particular, you absolutely can benefit from this. This year-round. More endurance, better cardio, and Sam, who's doing at least 150 minutes of cardio a week, whether it's in cutting season or bulking season, this would be very beneficial for him. And so if it's beneficial for Sam, imagine what it can do for you, especially if you're natural. FYI, it is WADA approved. That means you won't fail any drug tests. And if it doesn't work or exceed your expectations, it's a money back guarantee. And on top of that, it's a $50 gift card. And so what do you have to lose? Code Greg for 15% off. And Sam, let's see the blood work. I'm certain I can get AlgoRx, of which I'm a part owner, to test your blood work. We'll do a video on it. We'll explain if you're healthy, what you need to be doing. Sam, I do believe he coaches himself. It's working. He's doing all right. But what about his health? As amazing as his physique is, what if there's internal strain, internal damage that he isn't aware of? He may, in fact, be getting his blood work, but he doesn't know how to read it. Sam is an intelligent man, but it takes more than ChatGPT to read your blood work. And so, Sam, I encourage you to reach out, go to AlgoRx. We'll get your blood work tested for free. And while you're there, you can actually purchase real peptides, from compounding pharmacies, nothing that isn't FDA approved. We wouldn't do that. And so, no, you can't get Retta. It's not yet FDA approved, but regardless of that, Retta has the greatest dropout rate. It's not as good as Ozempic or Tirzepatide. I don't know why everyone thinks Retta is better. Hey, it's stronger, but most people don't need it to be stronger. And FYI, if you want it to be the cheapest, of course, you're getting Ozempic. And so, whatever it is that you're needing, do you need enclomiphene? Do you need Cialis, Viagra, telmisartan? Do you need to be careful with your hair? Do you need some dutasteride, finasteride? What exactly do you need? Head over to AlgoRx, the place you can trust. You're going to get exactly what you asked for. There's not some bullshit research chemical site with not for human consumption. It is all for humans. And so if you're a human, which you probably are if you're watching this, hey, not to say that there's no cats and dogs that might be watching along with you, head over to AlgoRx and don't forget to use code Greg for your discount. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Don't forget about AlgoRx. Of course, watch one of those two bloops. And if you want to get sponsored, coach, or have my subs in your freaking store, click the link right now. And until next time, I am out.